Today I'm going to show you the easiest business credit cards to get that can actually lead to up to $50K in business funding. I'm going to show you cards that work for high revenue all the way down to no revenue, as well as cards for good credit and bad credit. I've helped hundreds of other business owners secure some of these same high limit business credit cards with an average of $108K per client. And look, if you don't want to be limited to certain credit cards and certain business funding because of your personal credit profile, then you want to grab my high limit funding engine down below. It'll help you eliminate those profile killing mistakes that even people with 700 plus credit scores deal with, so that banks are more likely to approve you for those top tier cards. But before I show you which cards to go for, you need to know which banks to avoid, because some of them require a lot of red tape or long wait times no matter how good your credit is. So look, you can't just go and apply online and get a quick approval at all banks. And also, not all banks are even worth the inquiry. The first ones I'm going to talk about actually report to your personal credit profile, which is why you don't want to get them. And those are going to be business credit cards at Capital One and TD Bank. Now, you don't want these cards because them being reported to your personal credit profile kind of eliminates the major benefits of having a business credit card, because you want it to only report in a business's name, not your personal. And when you're using those credit cards, which is usually at higher amounts, and maybe sometimes it takes longer to pay them off, it can tank your personal credit score, and it can tank it for a longer time. And if you have anything that you need to do in your personal world, like getting a new car, proof of financing for fixing the AC on your house, anything that you need your credit for, it can mess those personal things up. Now let's talk about some of those banks with long wait times, and we're going to be talking about like 60 days or more. Those banks are going to be Wells Fargo, Regions, and Fifth Third Bank. With them, you usually have to establish a relationship, and you have to wait a decent amount of time, like I said, over 60 days, before you can get anything reasonably good from them. And even the amount that you get is not even guaranteed to be high, so that's another reason why. Keep in mind too that the amounts that you can get from a bank can change over time, and it can go up or it can go down at each individual bank. It just all depends on what's going on in the world and how those individual banks are operating at that time. That's why it's important to be up to date on information like which banks are giving out the most at the current time. Now, the other set of banks that we're going to talk about is going to be the ones that require proof of docs almost all the time. And if you don't know what proof of docs is, that's basically proof of revenue for your business. Some of those banks are going to be Regions, BMO Harris, and M&T Bank. Now, again, there are some instances where you might not be asked for docs, but more than likely you are going to get asked for docs going to those banks. So look, instead of wasting your inquiries on those banks, we're going to talk about the opportunities that you really want to go for. So let's talk about some of the easy EIN only, so they won't check your personal credit, corporate cards, but these do require high revenue, but of course they can work for those with a lower credit score. So yes, all of these are no PG, no personal guarantee. They only report to your business credit profiles, but again, they do have high revenue requirements, so make sure you stick around for the no revenue cards. Now, these are going to be best if you have anywhere from $250K to $1 million plus coming in business revenue every year, and you can prove that you have that strong cash flow with, bank statements, tax returns, whatever it might be. And you also have high deposits in your bank account, your business bank account, that is. Okay, so one of these options is going to be Brex. Now with Brex, the amount of money that you have in your account is going to determine what kind of payments you get. So if you don't have a high amount of money in the account, you're pretty much going to end up with daily payments on this card. Now, if you want to have monthly payments with Brex, you have to have at least $1 million in your bank account, or if you have raised money from investors or something like that, then you can have at least $50,000 in your bank account. So if you can meet those requirements, then you can get the monthly payments. Now, the next option is going to be Revolut. Now, with them, you have to have at least $20,000 coming into your bank account every month for at least 3 months. Now, with them, you do have to pay factor rates, so you can have a high cost on the money that you use with them, but it does give you the option of getting some credit to use that isn't tied to your personal credit profile if you have that much money coming in. If you want to check these out, I have links to them down below. Now, the next card I'm going to tell you about is going to be Divvy. It's also known as the Bill Divvy card. Now, with this card, I recommend that you at least have $10K sitting in a business bank account before you apply. Of course, the more the better, and the higher the limit that you'll get. One thing that you want to be mindful of with this card is, again, it's a corporate card, so you do have to pay this off every month. So again, if you meet those requirements, there'll be a link to them down below. So now we're going to talk about the easy business credit cards to get when you have no revenue but good credit. And these are going to be from the traditional banks. Now, this is going to be perfect for those of you guys with new LLCs that just got started. It can be 30 days or less because at that point, you definitely don't have any revenue to show. Here, you're leveraging your good use of your credit and building up your credit score to the 700s and beyond. Keep in mind that your credit score is not the only thing. Your credit profile has to also meet the requirements that the banks are looking for in order to get those higher approvals and to avoid denials. So if you want to make sure that you have all of the pieces in place that the banks are looking for and that you don't have any of those mistakes that kill your profile, even at a 700 plus, make sure you check out the high limit funding engine down below. Now, some of the benefits of these cards are going to be that they help you to build business credit history because they only report to your business credit profile. And you can stack multiples of these cards to get well beyond 50K. Now, the first one I'm going to recommend is going to be the Amex business credit cards. The reason why is because if you already have a personal relationship with them, because they are relationship based, you will get a soft pull on any cards that you get from them on the business side after that. And they can offer some generous limits if you approach them properly. And of course, it's an easy online application that you fill out to get started with them. Another one that I would recommend is going to be Flagstar Bank. They usually have a quick online application. You don't have to have a bank account or any prior relationship to get a decent amount from them. The only thing is they're regional, so they do have to be available in your region. So make sure you just check to see if they are available where you are. Another one I'm going to recommend is Citizens Bank. They do a soft pull. You don't usually have to have an account open in order to apply with them. And they can be really generous with the limits. And also keep in mind that this is a layered process. So there are different things that go into this other than you just having good credit that unlocks these higher limits. But just wanted to make sure you're keeping that in mind. And a overlooked bank that most people kind of forget about is going to be US Bank. They are nationally available. You can apply with them online. And if everything checks out with your credit profile, it can be a really easy, quick application. And look, I recently had a client that had a 740 plus score. And he had a business that was less than 30 days old, right? And he went to 2 of these banks and he was able to secure 40,000 just from 2 banks alone. So this is definitely something that's doable for you. So now I'm going to show you how to stack these cards in the right order so that you can unlock up to 100K plus in business funding without getting denials in this next video right here. Or you can check out this video that YouTube thinks you might like. And I'll see you in the next video.